JJ Gomez, Ryan Raybach, and Kyle Wilkerson present Organizational Behavior, Key Concepts.
Chapter 2, Discrimination. Can it be helpful or hurtful? There are two different types of discrimination, fair and unfair. Discrimination itself is defined as recognizing the differences in characteristics of individuals. Certain discrimination is necessary due to the fact that not everyone's abilities are equal regarding certain skill sets and knowledge. An example of necessary discrimination would be the military's physical standards to eliminate individuals who would not be physically capable of performing required tasks. Unfair discrimination is imposing burdens or withholding opportunities for whatever reason, such as race, sex, or age. Examples of unfair discrimination would be discriminating against someone's religious belief or somebody's gender.
Now looking at emotions, as seen here, it's not just what you can see on the surface in people's faces. Sources of emotions and moods can stem from several factors. The most noticeable factors are the individual's personality, time of day, weather, stress from work, personal life, and lack of sleep, as well as social activities. Emotional labor. The expectation in which individuals are expected to manage their feeling in accordance to their organization's rules, guidelines, and expectations. Emotional intelligence. The ability to be aware of, control, and express one's emotions, regardless of what is being falsely projected.
Chapter 5, Looking at Values, Ethics, and How They Differ from Generation to Generation. Basic values and ethics can be summarized with the Big Five personality model. Emotional stability. Personality dimension that characterizes someone as calm, self-confident, secure, and positive. Extroversion. Personality dimension describing someone who is sociable, gregarious, and assertive. Openness characterizes someone in terms of imagination, sensitivity, and curiosity. Agreeableness. Someone who is good-natured, cooperative, and trusting. Conscientiousness is someone who is responsible, dependable, persistent, and organized. Now, how do the Big Five apply to the workforce? Jobs such as therapists and software engineers, they're usually high on extroversion and agreeableness. Coaches and scouts are high on extroversion, and sales representatives are low on agreeableness because they have to be so competitive in the workforce. In comparing the three most recent generations, we found that baby boomers concentrate more on achievement and status, as well as loyalty to their career. Generation Xers are more committed to their relationships, and 90s kids are mainly focused on their financial success.
Chapter 12, Observing Leadership Theories, in particular trait leadership and transformational leadership. These theories introduce the question of, are leaders made or born? The trait theory of leadership is defined as habitual patterns of behavior, thought, and emotion of individuals. The key aspect of leadership theory is trust, which is defined as making yourself vulnerable to another having positive expectations for the outcome. Values which develop trust include integrity, benevolence, and the ability to develop propensity to trust. These lead to actions between the truster and the trustee, such as risk-taking, info-sharing, increased productivity, and group effectiveness. Transactional leaders' actions are defined by the bottom bracket as laissez-faire, management by exception, and contingent rewards. These leaders most often fall into the passive and ineffective portions of the graph. The top bracket describes transformational leaders, which are on the more active and effective side of the graph. Those traits include individual consideration, caring for each employee on a personalized basis, intellectual stimulation, challenging followers to push their limits, inspirational motivation, providing the encouragement to drive a leader's followers, and idealized influence, living as an example for employees or followers. Great and effective leaders will provide people with a can-do type of spirit, continue to improve performance, encourage a creative, inspiring atmosphere, be comfortable with taking risks, and provide examples of trust to those around them.
Chapter 13, Power. Looking at French and Raven's bases of power, there are 5 bases: coercive, reward, expert, referent, and legitimate. Coercive comes from the belief that a person can punish others from non-compliance. Reward comes from one's ability to compensate for compliance. Expert comes from a person's superior skill and knowledge. Reference comes from a person's perceived attractiveness, worthiness, and right to respect from others. Legitimate comes from the belief that a person has a formal right to make demands and to expect compliance and obedience from others. The most effective power bases are what would be classified as personal, which include expert and referent. The differences between leadership and power is that power does not require goal compatibility. Leaders have a downward influence of power, and leadership minimizes the importance of lateral and upward influence. The different tactics people use to assert power include legitimacy, rational persuasion, inspirational appeals, personal appeals, consultation, exchange, pressure, and coalitions.
Chapter 7 pertains to motivation. Here, we compared Maslow's hierarchy of needs against McClelland's theory of needs. Maslow's hierarchy of needs is personified by a lower order of needs, acting as a foundation for the higher order of needs. Once the physiological and safety needs such as hunger, thirst, shelter, and security are satisfied, then needs such as self-respect, relationships, and independence are built upon it. McClelland's theory of needs includes a need for achievement, which is a natural drive individuals have towards excelling. The need for power is the desire to make others behave in a certain way, and the need for affiliation is the motivation to achieve a close, personal relationship. Herzberg's two-factor theory separates the meaning behind motivators and hygiene factors. When discussing motivating factors such as work, autonomy, authority, responsibility, recognition, and achievement, these factors will make one satisfied with their environment, whether that be at work or a personal environment. Hygiene factors, including relationships, job security, work conditions, and salary or wage fluctuations, will only cause dissatisfaction or make someone feel neutral towards their environment.
Questions that we have following our study of organizational behavior. The first question stems from studying leadership and power. Is it better to be feared or loved as a leader?
The second question arises due to the fact that the forms of communication have been changing rapidly due to technology, which surfaces the idea that the advancement of technology is either diminishing or advancing the richness of interpersonal communication.
Our third question, does power corrupt or do the corrupt seek power, was formed from the same concepts which the first question was. Depending on the situation, does utilizing the power tactics and leadership theories in a way which produces fear result in a positive and effective way to accomplish tasks, or is it completely ineffective?
Our fourth question comes partially from discussing the culture of a company or organization as well as certain leadership tactics. How can a company manager or supervisor alleviate stress for all of their employees? In conclusion, we hope you enjoyed our video and thank you for watching.